Okay, hey guys. Today I have another test hand video. The White Forest deck has been updated a fair bit recently, especially with the Alliance Insight, and yeah, I've been testing out a few different things. I'm not 100% sure what my favorite list is yet, but what I have right now is like, for the most part, what I'm liking. If you want to know, excuse me, what the full list is, you can look at my previous video. It's a deck profile, I believe I called Updated White Forest Azamina deck profile post Alliance Insight. So it should be the video before this on my channel. So yeah, and also I guess I should say there's only one change that I took out the 2 nib and I put in 2 sales ban instead. Yeah, I ordered 3 online and only 1 showed up. This was like a month or so ago. So I had to find more, but yeah. Test hands are always a fun thing to do with with decks, especially decks like this where you're kind of like, you know, not every play is like so linear where you're always trying to go through one specific line. So we have Diabelle's, Imperm, Hollowed, Imperm, and Sylvie. So that's not a horrible hand. It's not insanely diverse either, but we can still do some cool stuff with this. So Sylvie obviously is still pretty much full combo on her own. So okay, I'm gonna put the cards down here. There's a bit of glare, I think, yeah, over here, so we'll try to avoid that. But okay, so first things first, I want to try and I think we're gonna start with normal summon Sylvie. So with this format, Droll is gonna be in the main deck for pretty much everyone, which is pretty rough, which is why I wanted to play Sales Ban. And I'm also playing Call By and Cross Out. So I have 4 main deck outs to it. And Sales Ban's also a board breaker, so it's really nice. But yeah, so I think if we get hit with, see right here, what we have to do is we have to go for Tails. Now, if we get hit with a Droll here, what we can do is we can go Diabelle's summon, sending like an Imperm, send our Vengeance, and then summon Vengeance by banishing the Imperm in our grave and probably the Tails. Maybe the Hollowed, but I don't want to lose that, although, you know, this is still our follow-up. So we're, you know, going to play as if there's no interruptions, because that's kind of how test hands go. See what you can make with them. You know, you could always put some, you know, bunch of random, you know, hand traps all over the place, but, you know, doesn't do a whole lot. So Tails, we're going to search Ozette. We're going to send the Hollowed because that's the easiest card to get back. And we're going to search for Azamina Ozette. So here, if we haven't been, you know, interrupted at all, I'm fine with just getting rid of one of my Imperms. Use the effects, send. It's a lot better than having, you know, more diversified interaction, like searching woes here, than, you know, just having 2 random Imperms. So then we'll use Azamina Elzette's effect to summon, and then we can synchro into Diabelle. We'll go Chainlink 1 to search, Chainlink 2. Depends on what we want. We can add back the Imperm. We can also add back the Hollowed. I think we're going to add back the Hollowed. We do already have an Imperm, so being able to get another search off of Murcielago by being able to use this twice is better than just having to use its effect to add back. So then this will resolve and we'll get, where is it? Sinful Spoils of the White, not Sinful Spoils, Deception of the White Forest. Then we'll activate Deception. And then we'll summon back Sylvie by putting back the Arciela. Oh, actually, that's a good point. Because we already have Hollowed, we don't need to search with it. So... I think... well, I mean, this doesn't matter all that much, I think, anyway. So I think we're going to... This still gets this in rotation. So we'll use it, send this. So I'm just thinking, even if I do it another way around, it's not really going to make that much of an impact. We'll grab... Oh my goodness, what am I doing? I am way ahead. Okay, now we summon the Murcielago, and then we search the Wanted. There we go. Trying to keep all this stuff out of the glare part. It's just so hard to get rid of the glare in my current setup, but then we'll use Hollowed Azamina to add back, putting back the Azamina Alzette. Then we can go Hollowed, Chain, Wanted. Here, because we have access to the other stuff via the Diabells, we don't need to search Vengeance here. I'm just going to search Diabell Star. And then send the Wanted away for Ilya Sylvia. Now, what we can do here is actually a couple things. Actually, okay, you know what? We're going to go back a bit. We are going to pretend, because this didn't actually do anything, I'm going to keep the Arciela and the Sylvie in the graveyard, because it's just not needed right now. So let's just pretend I didn't summon that out. Then what I would do probably is... Yeah, I probably special Diabell Star, sending the Murcielago, and use the effect to set. And here I'm going to set the Sinful Spoils of Betrayal Silvera, which is basically a send a Diabell Star monster to negate a face-up card on the field. Then we're going to go Diabells, sending the Woes. And then Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2 Woes to reset. We'll put Woes over here. We're going to send Curse. This over here. Curse is going to search Philia. I'm going to activate Philia and search Vengeance. Then it really depends on what you want. So I think here it's probably the best if you're going up against like Ryzeal or maybe Fire Kings. It's good to keep the Diabells on the field for the destruction protection. So I'm going to use the effect to summon Diabells, or to summon Vengeance, excuse me, banishing a spell and a trap. I'll use the effect to gain all these, gain 500, which is pretty cool, and then set the Imperm. And then let's see, we don't have... Oh yeah, and then we'll set the Deception in the end phase. You can also choose to Wanted, draw a card, because, you know, we have the fodder for Diabell. So, so this is a pop into a Poplar, which can go into Vengeance Dragon, which is pretty good. This can summon out a Tuner Synchro like a Silvera for Book of Eclipse. Omni Negate, the protection from card effect destruction for all our monsters. Woes, which is a E-Telly and then quick synchro into probably a Silvera. This can send Diabell Star to target a face-up card on the field, negate its effects. And then because this was, I believe if it's just sent, it's not by card effect. So this card is sent from its owner's hand or field to the graveyard. Yeah, so, and then on a new chain, you'll be able to activate a Diabell Star to resummon it to then set another Sinful Spoil card. And then we have Imperm, obviously, and then Deception, which is something we're probably going to use for Diabell to, you know, special summon from our extra deck. So yeah, that's kind of how that hand would play out. You know, it's always difficult with test hands, you know, thinking about, oh, how would you play against an opponent going second? And that's where you really just need to play matches at your locals or on simulators. I've been playing with this deck, I believe this exact build, for a few days now on YGO Omega, and I think I've won all my matches that I've played with it so far. Don't remember 100%, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. I was gonna make a video on some of the replays too, and point out some of the play lines that came up, but yeah, anyway, we're gonna go into another test hand. So a Stellar, Silvera, Salesban, Droll. So this one's definitely a weaker hand. Does die to one hand trap. So unfortunately here we're gonna have to see, this is rough. So okay, so this is probably what we're gonna do. If we Salesban for Droll, we can't use our own Droll. If we Salesban Ash to stop an Ash, that, you know, cuts off our own Ash. And then so probably the best line here is to either hold the Salesban or go Salesban, call either Effect Failure or Infinite Impermanence. And in this current format, I would definitely do Imperm because a lot less people are playing. What's it called? A lot less people are playing Valor. But yeah, then we can just normal summon, use the effect to send, summon out Sylvie, use Sylvie's effect, grab. Do I want to grab Tails? I think I do. Yeah, I think This comes back. Get that. Yeah. Man, that's tough. I think here, actually, you know what? I think here I'm gonna grab Woes. Then we're gonna go for Arceala again. This is like very basic White Forest combo at this point. So we'll go effect sends Woes, and we're gonna search the field spell. And get the QCR, of course. And then Chainlink 1 is Stellar to summon, Chainlink 2 Woes to reset itself. We'll set it in this place. Yeah, this makes, you know, using Azamina LZ a lot more difficult, or using that to summon, you know, plays into Nib more, so we can just be safe with this here. We can go into Diabell, add back the Silvera. And then we are going to end up locking ourselves out of the extra deck for Azamina cards because we are going to activate the field spell. Here, you can do LZ and then search. Is that what I want? I think, you know, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go just straight for Diabells, because then we can keep this as another interaction. So we'll use the effect sending the field spell, then use the effect to send, and then we'll do the same thing where we send Curse, and then Curse will add Philia. Then we'll activate Philia and search for Diabell Star Vengeance, wherever he is, or she is. And then we can go Yeah, we can go effect to summon by banishing these two. And then, yeah, set these Sinful Spoils. Then this is still a pretty strong board. The only issue right now is that we don't have an extra spell or trap to send for Diabel. So it can, this, you know, you can think of different ways to do this, but also when we go for the pop, we can summon Poplar of the White Forest and use the effect to set 2 of our White Forest in the spell and trap zone, which gives us the spell and trap to use for this. So it's still definitely playable. So this was a negate. That you have to send this, so you'd want to use this first. And you know, we'll have traps for the turn after to reborn it, and then we have a Droll and an Ash, which actually on its own is not that bad, especially into a deck like Ryzeal. But yeah, that's that test hand, and I'll do one more test hand just to kind of show what boards look like. But if you've noticed like people playing this deck or videos on this, you'll notice that a lot of the deck kind of pivots towards the Diabels into Vengeance line towards the end of people's combos, going first or second, because it's a great way to just like finish out games. And cards like the Field Spell basically are just 1-card combos for that. It'll help you OTK. It'll help you set up a pretty strong board. So yeah, so we have Fulos. Interesting. Okay, so we have Fulos, the Field Spell, Ash, Curse, and Diabel's White Witch. So this is a little redundant, but that's okay. Going second, this is actually a pretty good hand. Because we can Fulos and Ash something, and then we draw for turn. Oh my god. And we draw a Sales Band. So going second, this is actually a really good hand. And if we draw another card, oh wow. If we were to draw a card off Fulos and then draw a card for turn, that would just be crazy. But going first, we can still do a lot here. Let's see, what do we want to do first? So at the very least, we're gonna have access to our Vengeance plays even through Droll. So really the only thing to do here is to just go effect, search LZ. If we do get Drolled here, that's fine. We just go Diabels, send the Field Spell, use the effect on field to send Vengeance, and then use Vengeance to banish the Field Spell from the grave and the Curse from our hand to summon itself. And then we have Ash plus a pop and Vengeance into a Poplar, potentially into a Vengeance Dragon, or into a Silvera Book of Eclipse, so whatever you want. But again, we're going to just do the combos of what you would do if you're not interrupted. So we'll use this, sending this, and then search Sylvie. We are locked out of Azamina's, which, you know, this, I feel like this deck actually could benefit a lot from putting Debtors back in. That's something I'm looking into, because even having just a soul, I don't know if people know what I'm talking about when I say soul, but because the last name is so complicated, but just this as like a spot removal on your opponent's turn, like, is not bad at all. Because like if your opponent normal summons Dormouse and you get rid of it, it's like, okay, well they have to have an extra extender, they have to have the Field Spell or a March Hare, and that just, you know, plays even more into like cards like Woes or other pops and stuff. So it's still a good card. So we'll normal summon the Sylvie here. Let's see, I think here I would want to it's either Sinful Spoils of the White Forest or Woes, I think. But I'm not 100% sure. I think here See, we have a Fulos in hand, so we have something to use for Guardian Chimera. So, you know, I think we're going to go Sinful Spoils of the White Forest, because also this helps you kind of play around Nib too. Because one thing that I like to do is I like to use this to summon Vengeance from my hand. And it's a lot, you know, safer that way. We're going to go into, where is it? Arciela. Excuse me. And use the effect to send Curse. Because Curse is also going to get get some effects on Res too. So we're going to search the LZ Azamina. And then Curse of Diabel is going to search for Filia Diabel. I'm not a huge fan of these cards, but honestly, like, they do really help with consistency. And, you know, I think, you know, playing into Droll, especially going second, is even rougher. But I think right now, just with the way the deck is, it feels like you're just playing White Forest from a few months ago if you don't play these cards. But I still don't like them, but they're not horrible, if that makes sense. So yeah, so here I can go Filia Diabel. Too bad we can't use this to search the regular Diabel star, because it has to be a level 8. So we'll search this. Then we use the effect to summon. One thing you can do, which is actually pretty good, is, okay, if we go into Diabel here, and we go Chainlink 1, Azamina LZ to search. Chainlink 2, we can add back the Curse of Diabel, which if you control 2 or more Diabel monsters, send one monster you control to the graveyard, destroy all face-up cards your opponent controls. So it's just a complete board wipe. So it's a not a half bad card to add back. And then we'll search for, we can't, so in this instance we can't search for, or we shouldn't search for Deception because we're locked out of the extra deck. So I'm going to search for Wanted. And then I'm going to activate Wanted. And then we're going to get Diabel Star. Diabel Star. Our hand's looking pretty beefy. So we're going to search Diabel Star. I think, yeah, so here we can go summon Diabel Star, sending the Fulos that we're not going to need, and use the effect to set, and we can set, was a Sinful Spoils, Silvera. And let's see, what else can we do? I think here I'm going to go effects to summon, sending the Sinful Spoils of the White Forest, and then do Chainlink 1 to send, Chainlink 2 to reset. And what I'm going to send with this is I'm going to send like a Deception. It needs to be sent from the field face up to get it back, but what I can do is I can use Wanted to put it back at the bottom of the deck to draw a card. We get another Fulo, so it's not that helpful, but yeah, but also, I mean, also we can also use it as a Guardian Chimera play. So we're gonna set the Curse, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm not going to summon Vengeance, because what this allows me to do is play around Nib. If I were to summon it, basically all of my interaction is now gone. But if on my opponent's turn, I can use Sylvie to put back the Arciela in the grave to summon it. I have a Spellcaster. I can use this. We can go into a Guardian Chimera, or I can use it to summon the Vengeance. Then the Vengeance gets a pop. Then this can send the Vengeance for a negate, which is not horrible. And then this will, I wouldn't be able to use if I did get nibbed here. But if we don't get nibbed here, we have this, which is a board wipe. This, which is summons the Silvera for Book of Eclipse. This, which can summon Vengeance, which is a pop, which turns into also Vengeance Dragon. This, which sends this to, target a card, negate it. Then this floats and comes back and says another Sinful Spoil. This protects from destruction. I have an Ash. I believe that's everything I have here. So so some really cool boards you can make. I think the main issue with this deck right now compared to other things is that it does lose more to things like Droll, and this deck is a 2-card combo deck, not a 1-card combo deck like Malice or Ryziel. So, it is unfortunate, but this deck I still think is in a very strong position, and I think the way that I have the list right now is something I like. I'm not a huge fan of Foolish Burial Goods because I feel like a lot of the plays become redundant because you have the 2 spells that just kind of, if you draw them, it kind of makes those cards pretty mid, if not worse than that. You can also play Black Goat Laughs, but that's not insane in my opinion. What it does let you do is send the counter trap, the Dragon's Mind, to the graveyard, which you can just pay 25 to set. So you get it's basically a very easily searchable, not easily searchable, but a pretty easy to access Omni Negate counter trap, which is always very strong. But so those are some of the test hands. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions or comments or anything you just want to say, I guess, make sure to leave them in the comments. And I always love talking this deck and theory crafting, answering questions. It's always a fun time. But hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.